It was a brisk evening. The office drones strode proudly to their vehicle. It was a late night. Despite the cushy aspects of middle management, the hours were long, and the little office workers' talents were sadly underappreciated. Greetings, little office drone. The name's Jadir. I come representing my employer, or more accurately, I represent your competition of sorts. Your boss, Mr. Lorne Reichman, has been causing immense discomfort and stagnation in the financial district, so it has been tasked to me to further complicate his operations. The office worker attempted to flee. They knew the reputations of the Naga, and if they were not careful, they would find themselves in a harem or a belly. And yet, despite getting distance, despite their eyes never meeting, they felt poised like a wind-up toy soldier. Yes, a toy soldier marching through their paces in a tight circle, enjoying the warmth of an old antique shop in lockstep with their fellow toy soldiers, forgetting their old worries, forgetting object permanence, trapped in this little slice of micro-fiction. March, little toy. Oh, this is fun, but temporary. The toy soldier's route compelled them to about face. Come back to me. Come back to me. And wake. Oh, calm down. You look like you could form diamonds with your sphincter. No. You'll find that I am not like most Nagas. Oh, pardon me. Driver, back to the warehouse, and don't be afraid to take the scenic route. Much obliged. Don't worry, the confusion will subside, at least until the fancy takes me again. You don't know the joy a Nagalord gets when they squeeze the individuality out of someone. Watching the light flicker in their pupils till all that's left are spirals. In a manner of speaking. I haven't had my eyesight in a long time, hence the visor and these lovely subwoofers laced into my hood. Can't close them, you know. Very awkward going through doors, but the benefit? That makes it all worth it. Comfortable. There's a minibar to your left. Why not sample a drink? Please. We have a long conversation ahead of us. I apologize for having to spirit you away. It's nothing personal. I actually work as a historian in my day job. By night, though, I am beholden to my master. He facilitates my ability to conveniently skirt the typical bylaws and parole restrictions for Naga Lords, and I lend my exceptional skills at his discretion. Oh, the Naga Lords hem and haw about the artificiality of it all, particularly my sisters. Nevertheless, it's deeply satisfying. What? You find it surprising a Naga as glorious as I would willingly submit himself to another. Oh, I'm well aware of my particular predicament. My sisters frequently tease about where I've ended up. There's a name for Nagas like myself. Savashat. It translates roughly to lamp bather. It's... Many of my kind cannot legally indulge in our instincts. Those that are permitted to are entirely employed by another, like my master. I owe much to him, after all we've been through. He may regard me with respect, but my family considers my dynamic with him as childish, obsequious fawning, lounging in my little glass cage, soaking up the sun lamp and my carefully curated foliage, like a pet. I confess, it's a bit lower than the station of my ancestors, but I've grown to enjoy its many perks. Namely, I get to play with people like you. My master doesn't have a taste for the harsher side of politics. He feels everyone has a place. I couldn't agree more. Why kill or eat when you can shape and mold until they fit the hole in the puzzle you're building? We Nagas are known for our hunger and ambition. Oh, no, not for food. No. For control, power, adoration, attention, and, if you like, worship. You know, modern religious leaders have turned my kind into demons, implied it was our nature to corrupt and descend us all into sin and oppression that they had to overcome. It's harder to tell what the greater tragedy is, that I and those like me are always destined to be the antagonist, or that we're so very good at it. What would you think? My particular hunger is a unique burden. Master saw I had a taste for stories, characters, and weaving them in fascinating, unconventional ways. I tend to excise myself from the story I have them play out. I rather see a performance at my direction. I find reforging their reality is far more cathartic than just ruling over them. It's akin to being a theater producer. Only no one is aware they're in a show. Not even the audience. Did you really think I wouldn't have child locks on? I see you eyeing that glass bottle. No. There will be no vandalism in my master's property. Come. Enough of that. There we go. Slithering the tail around the waist, up through the arms, along the wrists. I learned this particular knot from a dock worker. It's an oversimplified play on the bosun's knot, and nice and tight. Handcuffed, with a loop around the neck in case I need you to fade from consciousness for a short while. But don't worry. I prefer to use my augmentations for such things. It's far more palatable for my prey. I'm afraid you won't be going back to work. All that's required is you disappear long enough for Mr. Reichman to hire a replacement, which no doubt will have a few recommended staff of our own to apply for the honor. But what to do with you? You see the predicament I'm in, yes? Master trusts my immaculate discretion, so long as the end result is where it needs to be. I have quite the slack leash. But the idea is all clamoring for the forefront of my attention. It's exhilarating. Trying to wrestle yourself free? I take great offense at people damaging my possessions. Why do you smaller creatures always try? I've enough strength in my coils to crush bones. No. Settle down. Settle. Not a fleck of protest or belligerent twinge of free will in that soft jelly you dare to call a brain. Honestly, if you want to test the bars of your little cage, there are more intelligent ways to die. But I promised in the beginning I would not do you in, though I enjoy a good squeeze, like a stress ball with higher stakes. The warmth is pleasant as well. But if you're going to buck and complain, how about a bedtime story? No, don't give me that look. Nothing quells a fussy prey like a good tale to cocoon their thoughts in. Get comfortable. We've a long ride ahead of us. And if you're lucky, you won't remember a thing. The days of the Naga Lords are not as old as you think. Alas, yours truly did not live to see it, so you will in my stead, Dupre. In the years of yore, the Ouroboros Emirates were a series of sand-bleached jewels laced like a constellation in arid desolation. Dunes for miles, yet dwarfed by the imposing ziggurats of the Naga Lords. When the time of the Naga Lords was over, many of the families played hognose, feigning compliance and defeat, convinced the prey would go mad, destroying themselves with generations of independence. My family, the Cretosans, were not one of the larger castes, but their rule was not without recognition. Each family of Naga Lords had their proclivities. Their thralls were as much a fashion statement as a tattoo or a piercing, no less an expression of vanity, but one that requires meticulous care in execution. Every Naga Lord has a thrall of choice, one that encourages uniformity. Some delight in the expected. Mice, rabbits, birds. But the Cretosan valued something far more exotic. The Nagas were not the only ones who had entitlements of rule. In a neighboring kingdom, hundreds of years ago, dragons hearkened themselves rulers and masters of all they surveyed. Many a historian debate which had the greater capacity for delusions of grandeur, the Naga Lord's ambitions or a dragon's pride. That turned out to be their undoing. The Cretosan Nagas weaved their prideful arrogance into an obsession, the grandest in all things, the greatest in every skill they applied themselves to, so why not service? After years of non-aggression, my family instilled that ache in them, to be seen not only as dedicated slaves, but as the best of them, the worthiest, dragon pride serving as a leash to coil tightly around our fingers and grip hold of their fealty. Just imagine it, towering beasts of strength and muscle, powerhouses in their own right, self-convinced of their pedigree as the cream of the crop, solely dedicated to to making sure they stay on top. Now they've gradually reclaimed their identity, striving for positions of leadership Naga kind offer ever barred from. It makes one think of the hydras of Greek myth. Slice the head of the serpent, and two more take its place. A tale as old as time, but there's plenty of ways to entice the dragons back to their posts. The Acropolis bathing courts. Eucalyptus, incense, and a mound of grapes on an embossed gold platter. At each doorway, a pair of dragons stand clad in armor, eyes rippling with dutiful purpose and dedication. Striding along the perimeter of the wading pool where the Kritosan Nagas soak in luxury and solitude is the head of the dragons. But he is not a dragon himself, no. He is more the idea of a dragon, a drake of sorts, a fictional entity that urges their loyalty, their pride, so they cannot hope to appeal to his ego, because despite his imposing presence, his ego is nothing but an echo of his Naga Lord Masters, their proctor, their warden, the Beast Master, if you prefer. His name, Trainer Civics. Welcome back to reality. If you're wondering where you are, I had you march with your fictitious brethren to one of my master's soft rooms. It's a place laden with pillows and cushions and warm, comforting knick-knackery meant to placate the senses. You all are so flighty, the way you quiver and shake. But not you. Oh, don't pretend you aren't a little incensed by my presence. You have what the Naga Lords used to call satwasya, a pliant will. It's something we called prey that find deep satisfaction from being bent to our will. Have a seat. On second thought, I'll sit for you. Have you grown accustomed to my scales? The thing I love most about prey like you is that you produce so much body heat. I remember one of the master's employees tried to describe the feeling of nestling their feet into bedroom slippers a few weeks back. Cozy, surrounded by comfort, not a care in the world. Of course, for me, it's more like I'm surrounding you. It's hard to describe. Think of it like you've had a long night in the winter. It's early morning, it's freezing out, but the blankets have matched your body temperature and you have no justification to release yourself from this little prison of your own delights. Now try imagining you are the blanket. Makes you want to jump at any chance to wrap yourself around another, doesn't it? Anyway, to business. Your employer and my master have quite a bitter engagement with each other. It's nothing personal, but he needs you out of the way. For a little while. He's not cruel, though. He's already sent a payment equivalent to double of what you would have earned under Reichman in the same amount of time. So, consider it paid time off. There's so many things we could do. I could make you my personal librarian, sorting my books, Or I could have you polish me personally, worshipping every scale with as much reverence as a pantheon. But Master has warned me of indulging in such hedonism. Once you start, it gets difficult to stop. But no. My preference is in creativity. I love stories. Characters are a degree of control far greater, far more profound, and leaks more ethical. At least when you're taking ink to paper. But my particular brand of storytelling revolves around shaping people into said characters. Hypnotically reinforced kayfabe. It's quite intoxicating to see. My master has had lengthy conversations with me about the nature of control and the paradox that comes with succumbing to that fixation. See, my brethren have an instinct to take control for the sake of leading, of using smaller creatures to help them thrive. But for me, it's about shaping identity. There's something deeply gratifying about seeing the tapestry of one's life and replacing the threads one by one. How long before you're yourself anymore? Don't look so scared. I promise this will be temporary. And I think it might give you a little experience in more assertive middle management. I have a character I've steadily been building over the years. A sort of what if I managed to acquire my own personal Drake servant. But with my loyalties to Master, I very much think you would be of service to him, at least for a while. Relax. The little one thought he had been middle management for a Fortune 500 company, sorting paperwork and the like, but it was a distant echo of a word unsaid, a wisp of curiosity to explore between tasks. They are lost in the script, the tale, merely a vessel to further the narrative, desperate for a soliloquy delivered by a charismatic visage such as the narrator, who was only happy to oblige. As is tradition, we begin with a classic phrase. Once upon a time. A Drake dedicated himself to the craft of training servants. Trainer civics. Originally a pale caricature of a dragon, yet his dedication to his master was so potent, it was inevitable to will his way into existence. A character gradually made real. Just think of it. A hand emerging from a tome or a painting. The artistry of his rippling muscles bound by leather attire, made manifest, pulling out of the prose and paragraphs as living fiction. Male, female, skin or fur, willful or submissive, it matters not. You are a character furthering my story. Tall, thick, fleshy tendrils like dreadlocks cascade down his shoulders. His lips almost perpetually curl back in a savage grin.
eyes a pair of red orbs like polished cherries, faintly glowing with his programming. Rolling back his shoulders as the cartilage popped into place. Feeling his pectoral muscles swell to the size of boulders, staring down at his charge like standing at the cliff edge over a waterfall, with superiority and imposed authority. His impetus was uncomplicated. Order. They look into his eyes and do not see a person. They see an edict. A set of rules and conditioning that any attempt to reason with, any squirms or bargains or threats would be like attempting to intimidate an inanimate object. His name is Civics and he is a trainer. Your name is Civics and you are a trainer. All the words that slip from your tongue are dictations of the absolution of the self. A sculpture with a sculptor's hands built to train, to condition, to shape dragonkind into the masterful servants dedicated to appeasing the whims of their controllers. He savors the look in their eyes, the former sense of self fading in favor of the one-dimensional caricature that will follow instruction to the letter. Your name is Civics and you are a trainer. Grip the leash. Grip the leash. Make them look into those glazed, glowing eyes, teeth filling out your mouth like a bear trap made of ivory. His mouth moves, but it is not his words. They are our master's words. His training, his lessons echoing from his chest as if Master himself stands there to educate and instruct. Your name is Civics and you are a trainer. Take comfort in the identity. Settle into it. With his grin and his power, you are absolved of responsibility, because it is not you. You are here to sculpt. You are here to train. And nothing thrills you greater than to see the light in their eyes glaze over, sliding into place, ready to craft armies and marvel at the expertise that went behind shaping them. Because, in truth, it's not your expertise. It's mine. It's Master's. Your mind is like tempered steel, folded and shaped and folded and shaped till you barely resemble what you were before. And yet, the potential that there would be no going back sends a profound thrill through your body, doesn't it? And with that, settle into the role. Become Civics. Oh, I absolutely adore that expression on your face every time I sculpt you into existence, Civics. Tell me, how do you feel? No, don't say a word. The conditioning does it for you. See?
My name is Civics and I am a trainer.
Ooh, chills down my spine. Again.
My name is Civics and I am a trainer.
Again.
My name is Civics and I am a trainer.
Again.
My name is Civics and I am a trainer.
Ah,
Music to my ears. There are so many in Master's coffers in need of an attitude adjustment. Good trainers pride themselves in shaping others for Master. But we have a quota, chop chop. I want to see you work your magic and test what exactly needs correcting should I find a crack in your impeccable facade. Take joy in your work. You have a lot of it ahead of you, little Drake. I'm not here. Merely an extension of the story.
Civics had stood at attention for far too long. His posture tightened, and he pivoted in place. The tenets of obedience thrummed in the back of his head, striding off to his duties that slotted into his head. The memories of the Naga faded. He is an instrument of his master's will. His name is Civics, and he is a trainer.